This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, and welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview and allow it to clash into the culture that surrounds us. And when we're done, hopefully, we will educate, entertain, and encourage you, the listener. I'm Jeff Dixon. I'm one of the co-hosts of this circus that we are about to be a part of. But the real star of this show is my co-host sitting to my right, your left. He is the man under the hat, former professional wrestler extraordinaire, Chris Whaley, also known as the Masked Saint. Sometimes he just makes you call him Saint. But anyway, he is with me once again. And Chris, I'm looking forward to today because we are going to interview someone. We've made a new friend here, and we want to kind of introduce him to our audience.
Yeah, it's kind of unique, you know. I was on Facebook one day, and I found this guy, and he is hilarious. I mean, he's been a fitness coach for 25 years, but he is also does online content. He's a comedian, and it was really impressive. He's got over 1 million followers. And I thought, well, there's no way this guy would want to be on our show. But hey, I contacted him, and lo and behold, he agreed to it. He'll have second thoughts about that, I'm sure.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But Matt Eubanks is our guest today. Matt, it is so great to have you, and thank you for coming on The Clash.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me, and I absolutely already have second thoughts about this just after talking to you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, 15 minutes from now, you'll probably say I'm having technical issues and I got to tap out. That's going to be.
I'll start sounding really important and say I've got somewhere else to be.
Yeah,
right.
It happens to us all the time, Matt. Yeah. I mean, it won't be the first. So.
Okay. Well, Matt, you've been a personal trainer for 25 years. You have built Matt Eubanks Training into a very successful online coaching business. What is the biggest lesson you've learned about helping people transform their bodies and their lives?
Well, gosh, the most important. There would be a lot of things to choose from. 28 years, but this is year number 28. Don't short me now.
I'm sorry, 28. Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm getting old. But the most from a business standpoint, the lesson that I would tell anybody young coming into this business is it's a people business. It's a people skills business. And no one cares if you have a six pack. They just don't. They care if you care. And they care just kind of like anything else you're trying to reach someone with. They care that you care. And if you know who they are and who they're, what their husband's name is, what their kids' names are, and the fact that it was their kid's birthday party this weekend, little things like that allow for you to be able to influence someone in a positive way. So I'd start with that because, the easy answer is, things that are, practically helping them. But before you ever get to that point, they have to know you care. And so just from a relationship standpoint, that's the number one thing when it comes to being in this business, staying in this business. If you're really going to be in this business, you're here to help people genuinely. If you're genuinely going to help people, you have to care about people to actually genuinely help them. So that's the first, if that makes any sense. That's the first step answer to that question.
I've got one of my old professional wrestling buddies is a personal trainer, but he doesn't do online. He just does, stuff in the gym. And I told him, the fact that he has to get up and be at the gym at 5:30 in the morning eliminates me. Yeah, yeah, that eliminates me. So
We,
I like your way better. You can just do it online with people, which is
you can.
unique. I don't know of any other personal trainers that are doing it online.
They are now. The COVID thing kind of pushed a lot of people in that direction. But when as far as me, when in doing this business, I've gotten up early like that my entire career. I don't think you ever get used to it totally, but there's something good about it, about just having to be up that early. For example, my wife and I train her, at the gym at about 5:30 or 5:45 every morning. She's usually my second one actually, and so we do that every morning, and that's kind of a great way to start both of our day. We don't necessarily like each other in that moment,
You
but
don't speak before 6, right?
right. You stack those moments up, and
Yeah.
and there's a lot of you get to be with each other first thing in the morning. You get to pray with each other before you go to work, things like that, just because we're doing those things. So I definitely I definitely understand the early morning stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to it. Not opposed to it.
yeah.
Y'all get up early?
Oh yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
do. I'm just kidding about that. I do it, but I don't like it. Yeah, I'm
No.
not. I'm not. My wife is a morning person. Oh, she
Hmm.
sings in the morning, and you leave me alone, man. I am not a morning person. Well,
So you don't
what
want to feel you
motive
don't want to feel this early. So
Yes, right.
what motivated you to start offering online coaching? Was it COVID?
well, it's funny because different scenarios and different contexts drive you to make decisions in different ways. So, for example, the crash of 2008. When Obama was coming in, I was at the height of my one-on-one business, which I had 7 one-on-one studios, which I had 6 other trainers also doing one-on-one training, and that's all I did. And that was kind of my niche in this town, is it was all one-on-one. There wasn't a gym setting. It was a bunch of one-on-one studios. And when that hit, that changed the way I had to focus on what I was doing,
Yeah.
because no one was coming in with a multi-thousand-dollar check to pay ahead for personal training during that time. And so I started doing boot camps and stuff like that, which of course got popular everywhere. And I did that for about 11 or 12 years. And so, yeah, I mean, I went through some hard times personally, and with COVID and everything, yeah, it pushed things a little bit more in that direction. But I'm still figuring that side of it out, to be honest with you. It's just such a different way to do it with people, but
Yeah.
it allows you to take, what we were talking about earlier with the caring about people, but
Yeah.
to be able to invest in people and more of them in a way that's more affordable for those people that might not be able to do it one-on-one with you.
Sure.
And so you might be able to help 25 or 30 people when you only would have been able to help 3 or 4 if it was minute for minute time. And so in that way, that's kind of what did it.
Mhm.
Is it just kind of circumstances pushed me in that direction? Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, what is I mean, explain to our audience the model. I mean, so let's say, yeah, I want to hire you to train me. What does that look like now?
Like, I just posted a flyer yesterday that said, it can be one-on-one, it can be virtually, or it can be online. One-on-one could be me training someone in their house here in Chattanooga, or them training at my studio here in Chattanooga, one-on-one. So it could be either or. And I do
Mhm.
have some that do both. And then I train people virtually, like you and I are right now on Zoom. You
Okay.
can do that on WhatsApp. You can do it on FaceTime, all kinds of different things you can do it on, where I actually am with someone for a half hour, and
Okay.
I'm actually with them via video. So I can instruct them via video. And of course, that's going to be similar in cost to being one-on-one. And so the online is different than all those, in that you know me, I know you, we have communication consistently, but it's not one-on-one time. It is me knowing everything I can about you and your goals, and where you are currently, designing your workouts, making sure you have the things at home if you're working out at home, or at the gym if you're working out at the gym,
Mhm.
and giving you the workout. Basically going on to my website, and going on there and checking out. Okay, there's my workout. There's the example of each of the moves. So
Okay.
you know what you're doing, exactly how many reps, exactly how many sets, and then
Okay.
my notes that would be under that about what to think about. So they can get their workout on their phone or an app or wherever, and they could be at the gym, with something plugged in their ears, just going through their workout with me, even though I'm not with them one-on-one. So that would be the difference. And of course, cost effectiveness is the difference too.
Yeah.
It might be a fourth or a fifth of what you would pay doing one-on-one. So,
Hi, just wanted to ask you a question. This is an important question. Have you been to the Clash store yet? You don't even know that it is a Clash store? Where have you been? Follow the links that you see right now and visit the Clash store. You can get all sorts of Clash gear. You can get coffee mugs. You can get tumblers. You can get those fancy cups that keep things hot and keep things cold. We have all of that, but not just that. We have gear. We have hoodies. We have shirts. We have sports shirts. We have t-shirts. We have anything and everything that you need to let folks know that you are involved in the Clash. You're taking your Christian worldview and you're allowing it to clash into the culture around you. And so, sports show, support this ministry, take time to visit the Clash store today. What I love about that, though, is it puts back then on the individual, deciding, what's the best way to access it, but it also doesn't exclude anybody, and that's, you're giving people an opportunity to connect at some level, to get fit, which is huge.
Yeah.
And you're right. It takes away that fear wall, of, because everyone's got that. Everyone who wants to get in shape, you have those perfect clients who call and they are ready to roll the second that they meet you. But most of the time, people have fear walls up, and you're trying to get past those, and that's part of the relationship thing. When I had trainers who I hired under me, the first thing I made them do, and it always shocked them, was read 25 Ways to Win with People by John Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't know that book, I wouldn't hire them. And they did not understand. They did not understand that for the life of them.
Yeah.
Why they needed to learn that book.
Yeah.
But there's another example of why.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah.
Is there a common fitness myth that you've debunked in your videos that still surprises people?
I mean, where do you want to start? I mean, what we grew up in. I mean, I was born in 1973, and so I've grown up straight through the whole food pyramid era, and that thing alone is a complete lie. And so, of course, kind of RFK and Maha and all that's kind of attacking that right now. But I don't even mean that from a political standpoint. I just mean that from just a nutrition standpoint. The things that we've been lied to about are absolutely, it's insane. If you dig enough, you realize that literally, big food companies they sell addiction just like anybody else. They sell addiction just like an SCX company, just like big tobacco. They sell addiction, and they want you addicted to sugar. They want you addicted to processed stuff, and that way you just keep coming back and keep coming back. And so that's a huge myth there. Just the food pyramid alone is a huge myth. And of course, people are scared to death of everything that's actually good for them. People being scared of steak and eggs is just the most amazing thing to me. Same people, eating gluten-free bread or whatever they're eating while they're telling me that steak and eggs isn't good for me. So the food pyramid, I'll throw that out there as my answer.
All right.
Well, Matt, so let me make sure before you go on, so this will help our audience and me. So you're suggesting that the basic 4 food groups aren't pizza, Bluebell ice cream, cookies, or
need to add some Imodium AD to that, probably.
Yeah, or Pop-Tarts. You're saying those really aren't the basic 4 food groups? Is that what I'm hearing you saying?
As much as EBT and food stamps would have us believe, they are not. They are not your main food. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry, is that a hot topic? Is that too soon?
Now we got a problem here, okay? So.
Hey, your viewership just doubled just from that.
Oh, we're out of time. Look at there.
Okay. Well, as a master trainer, what is your go-to advice for beginners that kind of feel intimidated by the gym or starting a fitness routine?
Well, what's funny is a master trainer be anybody considered that had over 25,000 hours of personal training. And so it's actually an actual term. I laugh at it every time I say it. Just like I have a master's degree, and I always tell my wife, "Why don't you call me master?" And she's, "Yeah, that's not going to do it." And so, master trainer, I said, "I'm just going to put master. I should put master trainer with a master's degree is what I should put on there."
Yeah.
But she already thinks that it's already obnoxious. So it's a real term. Now back to the question. Well, repeat the question, please.
We're going to do a whole different episode on marital counseling. Why I shouldn't call you master? We'll work on that next.
It was about go-to advice for people that are intimidated by the gym.
If you're intimidated by the gym, John Acuff wrote a great book called Start. And I love that book. And it basically says, you'll get through 3/4 of your problems just by taking a step, just by starting. And so, Mel Robbins wrote the 5-second rule or whatever that was called, just about doing that first thing. And then you'll be amazed at how many of the other things just take care of themselves if you'll just do the first thing. So what I just tell people is put yourself in the most non-intimidating position possible. Go with a friend, call ahead of time to meet with a trainer, something to where, you're not just walking in and just flailing around mindlessly. That's probably the first thing I would say is just prepare yourself, because what you'll find is that people in gym culture are extremely nice and they're extremely helpful. And most people that you would be intimidated by are not looking at you thinking, "Oh, she's overweight." They're looking at you thinking they would help in any way they can. And most people are thrilled when you ask for help of people who have been there usually. And that's something else that you find is the people you're intimidated by usually were there at some point too. So for sure.
I had to give up the gym. Going with my wife to the gym, and you have these younger guys that are really enthralled with themselves and doing the bench and then yelling out, four-letter expletives. And I don't deal with that well. And so I would walk over and say, "Hey, young man, I'm here with my wife. I don't want her hearing that. I don't want to hear that language.
Yep.
So I'm asking you nicely to please not say those kind of words. You don't have to say them while you're working out." And then that would always boost their testosterone, and they would want to get, and I'm happy to oblige them too. So I had to quit the gym.
Yeah, you've got a past. So
yeah. All right, we're going to switch to the comedian. You describe yourself as a comedian on top of being a trainer. How did you discover your funny side, and when did you start blending that humor into your fitness content?
Well, I'll tell you what, this was a complete accident. This would be attributed to COVID. And I've always been the funny guy in class. Some people, I use the word funny. Some people might use different words, like you said, expletives. But yeah, I was always kind of a class clown in school and that kind of thing, but never thought to do anything with it. And of course, there weren't really avenues for that, at least not until YouTube. And I thought of YouTube as a kind of as a tool for personal training stuff. And so I never thought of it as anything else. But yeah, I've always had that itch. And when the COVID thing hit, it's one of those things that kept me sane, just doing stupid, silly little videos. and then people started liking them. And I remember the very first one that I'll never forget it. The very first one I remember, my wife is a school teacher. And I remember messaging this to her at school about how many, I posted something the night before, and I woke up the next morning at like 500,000 views. And I remember the first time that happened. And I sent that to my wife, and she's always been like, it's hilarious, because she's exactly what I need, fellas. I don't know your stories, but I know that God fed me a wife who keeps me humble. That's all she always says. That's her job. And so when I'm just super impressed with myself about anything, she's like, and I mean, literally about everything. And I can't even get upset and cry over it because it's so funny. The fact that it's just the nonchalantness of the
Yeah.
and okay,
Mhm.
are you off your high horse? Because we got stuff to do. And so, but I do remember that. And so, yeah, the COVID thing kind of pushed me just to do some of that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of a rebel anyway, and so I wouldn't close my studio. I wouldn't close my boot camp. We had a mayor here named Andy Burke, and I got into a big spat with him over it. I'm like, yeah, come cuff me, and let's have me on video in the local news being cuffed because you had me arrested for having my gym open. You
Yeah.
know, he never did, but I remember that whole time. And so, but I did. I was down for about 6 weeks before I just said nope, no more. And
Yeah.
in that 6 weeks, yeah, I started doing that, and it just started getting popular. And it was one of those things where, to this day, I still feel like I still feel obligated to that crowd that
Yeah.
that kind of follow me for comedy. Now I've got people who follow me for all kinds of things. I probably do equal parts comedy and faith and fitness at this point.
Yeah.
Um, and I enjoy all three, and
Yeah.
so I just mix them all. That's kind of how it happened. There was no big grand plan, that's for sure.
Hey, it's me again, and I just wanted to take a moment and invite you to check something out. Doesn't cost you a dime, but I think that it's something you might really enjoy. The Church at 434, where I'm the pastor, where Chris Whaley is on staff, we have an app, and that app is absolutely free. You can find it by going to the App Store for iPhones. Just type in the Church at 434, or go to Google Play for Android phones. Again, the Church at 434. And when you get there, you're going to find a number of resources that are designed just for you to encourage you in your spiritual growth, in your walk with Christ. There's going to be some things that will entertain you, that you'll laugh at, that will be fun. And you can also tap in and watch our worship services. You can see some of the films that we've made. You can see some of the activities that we've got. And you can connect to the ministry of the Church of 434, where Chris and I are a part of that on a weekly basis. And we would love for you to join us and become a part of that network with us. And so check out the Church at 434 app in the App Store or in Google Play, and you can visit with us there. Also, you can email us right through that app, and we'd love to hear from you. Just say, hey, I got the app, and I like it. If you get the app and you don't like it, we don't want to hear from you. But that's a whole different thing. Let's get back to the Clash. Well, tell me. Let's take that a step further. Then, I mean, how do you take the comedy and the fitness and connect it with faith? You just mentioned that. Let's talk about your faith journey a little bit and how your faith kind of drives those two things.
Well, the big thing for me is that faith is a journey. And if you'd asked me 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you would have gotten a different answer from me about the faith walk and what it's all about.
Sure.
Because the idea of surrender to Jesus, being a fan, not a follower, basically. I mean, a follower, not a fan, basically, it's a different road.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's taken me to get to my mature years to get to that point of understanding that.
Okay.
And so a lot of the pain that I've been through, and I've been through divorce, and I've been through losing business, and I've been through, going through all that kind of stuff that a lot of people have gone through. And, mine was more unique and more painful and more, it, and it's just a different kind of pride to be focused on yourself in that way. And I felt like a lot of my walk was that was failure and get back up, and failure and get back up, and the shame and pain you walk away with when you've had failure moments, the ones that you believe you caused and the ones that you believe were caused, by someone else, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just the shame and the pain you carry with that, especially with kids and everything else, is hard to ever shake, ever. And so I feel like my wife and I, especially in the last few years, even more so the last 14 months, have just entered a different level of just understanding that this life is all for him. It's all about him. And, when the scripture says, give your all in everything that you do, because you're glorifying God.
Right.
I think we just now got that. And even though I've been mixed in with ministry and, and fitness in some regard for the last 25, 30 years,
Mhm.
and I look back at some of those times. I'm actually embarrassed. I look back at some of those times thinking of where I was spiritually, in a funny way. I'm not dogging myself or anything. I'm just look back then and going, I thought I was really strong, and no, I wasn't strong in any way, shape, or form. And so just to be humble enough to know that you're learning it at all times. But just to get around to your question, coming back to how do I kind of infuse it, or why? I just want people to know that's who I am, and that I'm a very broken version of that. There's not a person that if they came to me with whatever, that they would feel in any way intimidated by my Christian walk. Do I think I'm in a good place now? Yeah. But my gosh, chief of sinners, I don't care who I'm talking to. I feel like I can relate because I've walked away from God so many times and had to come back so many times. He's the only constant in my life. The only constant is God didn't leave me. And so I owe him everything. And so that even means mixing it in with comedy, and that even means mixing it in with fitness, and making people understand that that's what I'm about. And if I'm going to help you with fitness, just know that I'm going to make it fun, and just know that what I'm about Jesus. I'm a conservative in my values, and I make no apologies for that. I'm not going to be your enemy if you don't believe in all those things. I'm still going to be just as nice to you, but that's what I'm about. And if you put that out there up front, you take a lot of heat for it, but that heat usually comes from people who are already hating on you because you're Christianity to begin with. It's usually not coming from people who are genuinely interested. And so I don't know. I mix it all together, and it's a strange mix. I'm not sure which direction it's going to go, but I get opportunities to talk to people all the time because of it. So
Okay.
Well, and God's using it. I mean, He's using it. He's blessing you, and He's blessing others through it. And so I'm excited about that. Thanks.
And my humor was a lot more inappropriate 4 or 5 years ago than it is now. So that's another example of just maturing and understanding that little tweaks of how you do things along the way come with maturity. So
well, we're out of time, and I'm sad because I still had questions.
Page of questions, right?
Yeah, I had some good ones too.
Really? Good questions, huh?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I was going to tell you this is one of them, because we're already running over, and our guys doing
bonus time.
But this is the great. Who's your biggest comedy influence? And have you ever thought about taking your stand-up or sketches to live tours and bigger platforms? That was a great one. Don't answer it because we're out of time.
Oh, man. Oh, he dropped the question and now you can't answer. Wow. I think, Matt, I think what just happened is, I think he basically just teed you up for some kind of a pathetic attempt on our part to get you to come back on the show at another time.
I said part two.
That's probably
okay,
it.
all right.
Hey, Matt, how do people contact you?
People can contact me just an easy way, eubankstraining@gmail.com.
Okay.
And honestly, on my videos, Matt Eubanks Online is pretty much all the sites you can get me at Matt Eubanks Online. And on those sites, I've got my phone number right up there on my marketing stuff. I mean, people can text me, they can WhatsApp me. If they're a pain in the butt, I'll block them. But most of them are super nice. And but you can text me directly if you've got any questions about that kind of stuff.
All right,
we'll do it.
Well, man, thank you so much for being on the Clash. We appreciate it. Hey,
appreciate it, guys.
If you want to get in shape, get with this guy. He'll get you in shape.
There you go.
And he might might do some other things to help you along the way too in your journey of faith. So you have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week, and don't tap out.